Annabel looked in awe at the imposing mansion in front of her. At 8 years old, she could hardly believe that she would now live there, even if it was in the small house at the back. The garden was lush, with colourful flowers and leafy trees. The pool's crystalline waters reflected the blue sky, invitingly. Her mother Sarah held her hand as they walked along the stone path leading to the main entrance. Annabel could feel her mother's nervousness as she squeezed her fingers tightly. Sarah was a hard-working woman, raising her daughter alone since the father abandoned them years ago. Getting this job as a cook in the Hamiltons' mansion was a great opportunity to improve their lives. When the imposing oak door opened, Annabel's eyes widened. The interior was even more impressive, with marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and elegant furniture. A middle-aged woman with impeccably arranged hair and a warm smile greeted them. "Welcome. You must be Sarah, our new cook, and this lovely little girl must be Annabel." It was Christine Hamilton, the owner of the mansion. Her voice was gentle and welcoming, causing mother and daughter to relax a little. "Thank you, Mrs. Hamilton. We are very grateful for the opportunity," replied Sarah timidly. "Please call me Christine. Come, I'll show you around the house." As they walked through the luxurious rooms, Annabel felt like a princess in a fairy tale castle. Everything was so big and beautiful. Christine patiently explained about the household routine and Sarah's tasks. When they reached the kitchen, a boy of about 10 years old came running in, nearly bumping into Annabel. "Christopher, be more careful," Christine scolded. "Come meet Sarah, our new cook, and her daughter Annabel." The boy looked curiously at the newcomers. He had messy brown hair and bright green eyes. Annabel felt her cheeks blush under his gaze. "Hi," Christopher said shyly. "Do you want to see my toy car collection?" Annabel's eyes lit up. "Can I, Mum?" Sarah hesitated, but Christine intervened. "Of course you can, dear. Go play while I finish showing your mum around the house." The two children ran off towards Christopher's room, beginning a friendship that would change their lives forever. In the days that followed, Annabel and Christopher became inseparable. They spent hours playing in the gardens, swimming in the pool, or inventing fantastic stories. Christine encouraged the friendship, always including Annabel in her son's outings and activities. Sarah watched the children's closeness with a mixture of joy and apprehension. She was happy to see her daughter so content, but feared that the social difference between the families could cause problems in the future. However, Christine always made a point of treating Annabel as an equal. On a sunny afternoon while the children played by the pool, Christine approached Sarah, who was preparing dinner in the kitchen. "Sarah, I want you to know that I consider you and Annabel part of the family," said Christine sincerely. "I never thought I would find such a dear friend in my employee." Sarah felt her eyes well up. "Thank you, Christine. I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for us." The two women embraced, sealing a friendship that transcended social barriers. Years passed, and Annabel and Christopher grew up together, sharing joys and sorrows. When Christopher got his first video game, he insisted that Annabel spend hours playing with him. During summer vacations, they built sandcastles on the beach and caught fireflies in the garden. Christine always made sure to include Annabel in all the celebrations. On the girls' birthdays, she organised pool parties, inviting school friends. At Christmas parties, there was always a special gift for Annabel under the tree. As adolescence approached, Christopher's interests began to change. He started attending an elite school, while Annabel continued at the local public school. Their social circles began to drift apart, but the bond between them remained strong. On summer afternoons, when Christopher returned from tennis or swimming lessons, he still found time to sit with Annabel by the pool. Swinging their feet in the warm water, they talked about their days, their dreams and worries. It was in these moments that the differences between their worlds seemed to disappear. Annabel, now 15, felt her heart race every time Christopher smiled at her. She knew it was just a teenage crush, but she couldn't help dreaming about her charming friend. Christopher, in turn, saw Annabel as his best friend, someone he could trust completely. When the time came to go to college, Christopher was sent to a prestigious institution in a big city. Annabel felt as if a part of her was being torn away. Tears silently fell as she watched him leave, waving from the car window. Determined not to fall behind, Annabel dedicated herself to her studies with diligence. Her exemplary grades earned her a scholarship to a good university, but she still lacked the resources to support herself in another city. It was at this moment that Christine once again demonstrated her generosity. She invited Annabel for a conversation in the garden, sitting on a wooden bench surrounded by fragrant roses. "Annabel, dear, your mother told me about the scholarship. I am so proud of you," said Christine, holding the young woman's hands. "I want to help with the expenses so you can fulfill your dream." Annabel felt tears well up. "But I can't accept. It's too much." Christine interrupted her with a tight hug. "Annabel, you're more than just the cook's daughter. You and your mother are part of our family. Let me do this for you." At that moment, Annabel understood the true meaning of family. It wasn't about blood ties, but about love, respect, and mutual care. The years at the university passed quickly. Annabel graduated with honours in psychology, while Christopher completed his business administration course. Both secured jobs in their respective fields in neighbouring cities. On holidays and special occasions, when they returned home, it was as if no time had passed. Annabel and Christopher would resume their conversations by the pool, sharing stories about their new lives and reminiscing about the old times. When Christopher's 25th birthday approached, Christine decided to organise a big party at the mansion. Preparations were in full swing, with decorators, musicians and catering staff coming and going throughout the property. Annabel arrived early on the day of the party, eager to help with the final details. She found her mother in the kitchen, visibly stressed. "What happened, Mom?" she asked, concerned. Sarah sighed. "Two of the hired waitresses didn't show up. I don't know how we're going to handle everything." Without hesitation, Annabel said, "I can help. I'll change clothes and serve the guests." "But dear, you are a guest, not a staff member," protested Sarah. Annabel smiled. "Mom, this family has done so much for us. It's the least I can do to give back." Dressed in a waitress uniform, Annabel began to circulate among the guests who were already arriving. The garden was magnificently decorated, with twinkling lights hanging from the trees and tables elegantly arranged around the pool. Christine, upon seeing Annabel serving drinks, approached her confused. "Annabel, you're here as a guest. Why are you serving?" Annabel explained the situation, but Christine insisted, "I appreciate your kindness, but I want you to enjoy the party. Please change your clothes and have fun." The young woman nodded, saying she would serve just a few more minutes and then join them. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The soft music filled the air, mixing with the lively conversations of the guests. Then it happened. While Annabel was serving a group near the pool, some children, Christopher's young cousins, came running by. In their haste, they accidentally bumped into Annabel, causing her to lose her balance and fall into the water with a big splash. For a moment, silence fell. Then, laughter began to echo throughout the garden. Annabel emerged, completely drenched and mortified. Her face burned with shame as she tried to get out of the pool. At that exact moment, a car parked at the mansion entrance. Christopher, who had been stuck at work, finally arrived late to his own birthday party. Seeing Annabel soaked in the pool, the guests laughing, Christopher didn't hesitate. With a beaming smile, he shouted, "Hello everyone, nobody told me the party was a pool party." To everyone's astonishment, Christopher ran and jumped into the water, still wearing his expensive suit. He swam up to Annabel and wrapped her in a tight embrace. "I knew you liked swimming, but you could have put on a bikini, my love," he joked, eliciting a shy smile from Annabel. Then, to the even greater surprise of those present, Christopher held Annabel's face in his hands and kissed her passionately. When they parted, breathless and smiling, the The guests erupted in applause and whistles. Christine waited at the edge of the pool, holding 2 fluffy towels and with tears in her eyes. "You too," she said, enveloping both in a wet embrace. "I always knew there was more than friendship between you. I'm so happy." As they dried off, Christopher explained that his feelings for Annabelle had blossomed over the years, but it was during the time they spent apart at university that he realized the depth of this love. Whenever he returned home, his heart would race at the sight of her, but the fear of ruining the friendship had kept them silent for too long. In recent months, however, everything changed. With both of them working in neighbouring cities, they began to meet discreetly. These meetings became a safe space where the love that had always existed found form and strength. Despite the intensity of their feelings, they decided to keep the relationship a secret, fearing the reaction of their families and wanting to be sure they were ready to take this step. Now, in front of everyone, Christopher and Annabelle knew it was time to let the love they had kept secret shine. There was no longer any reason to hide it. They were ready to fully live the feeling that seemed to have been written by destiny. The party continued into the night, now with an even more joyful and romantic atmosphere. The guests were celebrating not only Christopher's birthday, but also the new couple. Sarah watched the scene with tears in her eyes, reminiscing about the day they arrived at that mansion, so many years ago. She could never have imagined that her little Annabelle would one day fall in love with the employer's son, and that he would feel the same way. In the days that followed, the news of Christopher and Annabelle's relationship spread. To the couple's relief and joy, they were welcomed with support and affection by both families and friends. Their story was a powerful reminder that true love knows no social barriers. Respect, friendship, and shared values over the years had built a solid foundation for a long-lasting relationship. Months later, on a starry night, Christopher took Annabelle for a walk in the garden. They stopped by the pool, in the same spot where they had so often talked during their childhood and teenage years. There, with the moon's reflection dancing on the water, Christopher proposed to Annabelle. With tears of happiness, she accepted, sealing the promise with a passionate kiss. The wedding was celebrated in the same garden, with the pool decorated with floating flowers and candles. Sarah and Christine, side by side, cried with emotion as they watched their children exchange vows of eternal love. And so, Annabelle and Christopher began their new life together, not as the cook's daughter and the heir to the mansion, but as 2 people who had always been treated with respect and equality. From the beginning, Christopher's family never regarded Annabelle or Sarah as inferior. On the contrary, they always welcomed them with genuine friendship and consideration. This foundation of mutual respect ensured that the relationship between the young couple blossomed freely, without barriers or prejudice. Now, united by the love they had built over the years, they were ready to live a life where what truly mattered was the deep feeling they shared. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.